I've listened to a lot of jazz albums since I went back to school and learned so much more about what people do and how they do it and why they do it. In the process of that, I learned that I've instinctively and intuitively been doing things that kind of fit the guidelines for how they teach jazz and jazz theory, you know, without really knowing that I was doing it that way. And a great example of that is that song I mentioned, World of Joy and Pain. The chorus in that is identical, and it's in the same key. It's an exact same changes as this great jazz song, Night in Tunisia. Just a different melody. And I didn't even know. I'd never played Night in Tunisia in my life when I wrote that song, right? So somewhere I was following some guidelines that somebody figured out about what makes jazz sound good and what roots it in its tradition. But also because perhaps I didn't have that really technical education that a lot of jazz artists do, I'm outside of the box. You know, Miles Davis had the education, but not the jazz education because they didn't teach it back then, remember? And his deal was, I heard a quote with him one time, he said, I just play it a minor third away from where everybody else does and they think I'm a genius. And I'm a little bit like that, you know, partly because I don't have the virtuosity that some of my band members do, or the dense musical knowledge that they have. But what I can tell you is this, in that album, on all of the albums that I have listened to, there is no better album bass track than the one that Alice Chapman laid down on Music is Life. From one song to the next, it is an amazingly fine bass track from start to finish. It is the beating heart of the band. It's creative and it's just beautiful. It's Paul Chambers. It's people like that would say, oh man, I love that bass player. Okay. And then you will never find a vocal track like the one that Calliope laid down. Period. There is no better jazz vocal track anywhere in the world than the variety of music that she sang and the sounds that she put into this album that you will never hear anywhere else, ever. And one song to the next, you know, when we sang Music is Life, she made her voice sound a little bit more like Aretha Franklin. You know, that is some special talent. And I mean, I'm not saying that one's better than the other. I'm not saying that she's Aretha Franklin. I'm just saying she's Calliope, and there's nothing better, period. I've listened to a lot of jazz albums since I